Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. All right. Following the weird theme here, I was just, news broke today that Joe Biden and his State Department managed to do a prisoner swap, freeing American prisoners who were being held in Russia. Germany apparently played a very large part in this endeavor to free Americans that were wrongly held in Russia that Russia claims were spies. In return, Russia got some spies back and some folks who are really good at, credit card fraud and hacking and things along those lines. So everybody wins. Anyway, J.D. Vance was on there saying that the hostages being released just shows how strong Trump is. And the logic is something akin to, well, Russia was so scared that Trump was going to be president again that they caved and traded these hostages before Trump came in, muscled up to the bars and freed him himself. If that was the case, then how come Trump didn't do that with all the hostages and political prisoners and stuff like that when he was president? Because one of the guys released today was being held when Trump was in office, and Trump did nothing to get him free. When asked about this, some Biden spokesperson said that J.D. Vance is like, I don't follow. When J.D. Vance is saying, they did this because of Trump, he's like, I don't follow. Next question. This is kind of like a lame, really cheap knockoff of Iran turning the hostages over right when Reagan got elected because they were scared of Reagan. No. Reagan and his team had negotiated that release outside the government and asked them not to do anything until after Reagan took office. So even that, it's lame comparison and not at all based in reality. But it's a funny thing about MAGA. They're not really based in reality, are they? They're kind of weird, as my other video that went up today would talk about. Now, on that theme, so Vladimir Putin just traded some political prisoners, American prisoners, for spies and other prisoners. I really doubt that Putin did this because he was scared of Trump. But I'm kind of curious, what does Putin think of Trump? Where, kind of like in what way does Putin think Trump is weird? And then I'm going to sort of carry it with, I'll do a channeled reading on the Queen. Queen Elizabeth. How did she think Trump was weird? We'll have some fun with it, okay? Lighthearted readings here. You're getting this on a Friday morning. This would be more fun, I think, to get on a Saturday when you've got some real time to digest it. But, it's going to be a Friday one instead. So enjoy your early weekend present here. Some potato chip readings, if there ever were potato chip readings. Vladimir Putin on Donald Trump. Why does Putin think Trump is weird? Okay? Entertainment purposes only. For Putin, he looks at Trump as being weird because Trump just, he fights, he does weird things. He'll take weird positions and defend them beyond any point of reasonableness. So it's like Trump's got this fanatic opinion that once he's made up his mind on something, he's going to defend it. He's going to double down, triple down, and no amount of facts or reality get in the way of Trump's reality here. Crossed with the world card. And it's just, and he's got this really weird worldview. Trump has a really weird worldview. And it's closed. Trump's viewpoints are closed. They haven't been open for business in 40 years. And so it's kind of like, it's funny, you're dealing with a time capsule. And, Putin looks at Trump, it's like, Trump's focused on money. He has his opinions and he has money. He's such a simpleton that he's really easy to manipulate because you either give him money or you support his opinions or you balance these two to get whatever you want out of this guy. In my video last night when I was talking about the black journalist interview, I was commenting how Trump is stuck in the mid-'80s. I never finished the thought. And the thought was, I remember in the mid-'80s, I remember my father talking about when Cuba released basically a bunch of Cubans to the United States. And the rumor, I don't know if it was true or not, maybe it was, that Cuba also emptied out all the prisons. So amongst the refugees coming to the United States was every prisoner from every prison also were basically marched out there, put on boats, and sent over to the U.S. So the U.S. got refugees as well as the entire prison population and probably everybody from an insane asylum too. And that's that same message that Trump is trying to convey with folks coming across the southern border. That it's that same narrative that, they're just opening up their prisons and dumping all the prisoners they don't want to deal with, opening up all the insane asylums and dumping all the mental patients they don't want to deal with. It's that same narrative from the early mid-'80s, and it's locked in to Trump now because nothing changes for him. It's like his mental growth kind of stagnated in that part. Maybe that's when he was having his most commercial success. So why grow any new ideas? Because all your memories and your values are when you had the most money and you were, you had fooled enough media that you were like this up and coming American tycoon to the point where you had Monopoly games and people were talking about Trump this and Trump that all the time. The guy's a weirdo. It's a shame that he hides that from psychiatrists everywhere. They could write books. There could be such a great understanding of sociopathy and narcissism, looking at narcissism by getting to analyze Trump, and he's keeping it all to himself. But we're talking about Putin. In the past, the Three of Wands, Putin has had his eye on Trump for a while. And this is documented that he's been eyeballing him since at least the 80s, and certainly by the 90s. They had plans for Donald Trump. Now, asking why does Putin think Trump is weird? Current situation, it's Donald Trump can't control his emotions. Emotionally extremely immature. And he can be manipulated like a simple child. Because he only has two things. He has a love for money, and he has his ideas, which he holds on to and will fight and double down on. Yeah, I mean, things of value, like, he likes European women and other stuff. But, he's really basic, and he's immature, and he can be emotionally manipulated, which is why Putin's kind of got like a daddy image over Trump. Overarching energy, the Ten of Coins. It's not just wealth, but he knows that Trump wants a legacy. He wants a mythology. It goes with this immature behavior. Trump, it's funny. Trump doesn't seem to understand that his actions in the history books would be horrific. He doesn't care about that. It's like all of Trump's legacy is going to be pop culture. It's going to be pulp fiction. It's going to be in magazines. How many Time magazines was he on the cover of? Something along those lines. He doesn't care about history books. No, he never reads history books. He looks at magazine covers. And to him, that's the success. And Putin recognizes that, which is why he can manipulate Trump. Because everything is just superficial. So Putin thinks Trump is weird because he obsesses over money and his mythology, and he's immature and fights weak points. The lesson to be learned is the King of Swords. So Putin sets himself up. He knows that Trump wants to be a dictator. He wants to be a king. That's the ultimate in the mythology here. And so, Putin was guiding him on how to be a dictator. And he's been watching Trump for a while, and they got Trump in a position where Trump could fulfill his mythology to be a dictator. But he's just weird. He's not very smart. The outcome is the strength card. Yeah. In the end of the day, Putin can manipulate Trump like that. What's also interesting is if Trump is a useful idiot and he's not so useful and hasn't been useful for years, it would not surprise me to find out that Putin hasn't been taking Trump's phone calls for a while. Maybe every once in a while he does just because. But if Putin thought that Trump could win this election, he'd be really pushing it. And he's given Donald Trump some little pushes on the swing. But, everything right now, he's got his own things. So, yeah, Putin thinks Trump is weird because he's emotionally simple. He's very basic. And easily manipulated because of that basic nature. Now, not to downplay it, Trump is incredibly manipulative. And he can get people doing stuff and believing stuff that's just mind-boggling. But Putin doesn't concern himself with that. He's immune to Trump's his silver tongue, if you will. Putin doesn't listen to stuff like that. Putin's the one controlling Trump. Now, the Queen Elizabeth, who greeted Donald Trump while wearing a pin that Barack Obama gave her because, subtlety is lost on Donald Trump, but it's not lost on the British people and the royal watchers. They caught it. They knew what the message was. If Trump's too much of a simpleton and adult to understand it, well, that's Trump's problem. That's kind of the British sarcastic humor. They laughing. And as Trump asked for his gazpacho soup to be heated up, you know what I mean? Oh, you're so cultured, Donald. All right. The late Queen Elizabeth. What did she think about Donald Trump? How did she think he was weird? Okay. And that's definitely for entertainment purposes only. Judgment. She just, just the things that come out of that man's mouth, the decisions he would make or he made. It's funny. She sits back and just shakes her head judging the hell out of this guy. But she won't tell him that. But she'll oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine being able to hear her thoughts? It would be amazing. Oh, there's that 10 of coins again. And here's the thing. The British have the legacy. They have the royalty and the legacy that goes through it. And they are an incredibly wealthy family. And you look at Trump. Oh, this card's up there too. The strength card and this. She could look at Trump and see that he's a grifter and, not somebody that's been well-bred, if you will, or well-heeled or well-raised. But underneath it all is the strength card. She has her opinions, but she kept it quiet. But she could probably manipulate Trump in her own way because of her subtlety. It would be lost on Trump, but she might be able to, have some fun. Definitely could have fun at his expense, and he would never know it. Again, it would literally be... okay, for those not familiar, gazpacho soup is a soup that's designed to be served cold. As a British comedy fan, Red Dwarf had a running joke about one character who wanted to do well in the military, but as a cadet, he was sitting with the officers and they were at a restaurant and they served him gazpacho soup, and to try and impress the officers, he sent it back because it was cold and he wanted it piping hot. And all the officers were like, oh my God, this guy is such an idiot, but didn't say anything. They just let him eat his piping hot gazpacho soup, and his career was ruined at that point. The character himself was very loud. His name is Rimmer. Very loud, very angry, obnoxious, self-righteous, thinks he's all up there and everybody's down here type of thing, which is, the humiliation of it, because he only understood it later. Trump will never understand it. But if Queen Elizabeth wanted to have fun at Trump's expense, they would serve gazpacho soup and his would be heated up and everybody else's would be at room temperature. And you could see the steam coming off of it and everybody would be snickering as Donald Trump ate his gazpacho soup. Just saying. And probably serve him lots of vegetables and watch him pick at it and try not to eat stuff. Oh, God. In the past, the Four of Cups. The first thing I saw that card is not my cup of tea. This man is not my cup of tea. He's repulsive. She was absolutely repulsed by him. It's like, I cannot believe... it's like she can deal with a lot of people. I'm sure she didn't like Putin very much either. But, oh, God... How do I deal with this guy? Current situation, thinking about Trump. Again, she had wealth, she had power, she was refined, she had class. She had all these traits that went with royalty and conducted herself with a regalness. Now, again, some people are not big fans of the Queen. And if you're not a fan of the Queen, that's fine. You don't have to be. I'm just saying that's how she conducted herself. That was generally the appearance. Trump comes across as, where's my Five of Wands? He just comes across as trash. He's just like this low-class, brash person who's got a bunch of money and has no idea, no class. No refinement came with that money. She kept, overarching energy. She just laid low, kept quiet, endured any visit with him. Didn't want him over there, but, sometimes you just keep your stiff upper lip and take one for the team. But if she had a confidant that she talked to afterwards, if she could let her hair down and let it fly, oh lordy, man, I'd love to see that. Lesson to be learned is the star card. What to say? Again, she had everything that Trump wanted. And he wasn't, just judgy. Just judge him. It's like, oh my God, this guy. Ah. You got, two cards, the Moon card. He's weirdo. The other one that was popping out was the Seven of Cups. She just looks at him and like, he's weird. This guy's just crazy. He's got weird ideas. Weird viewpoints on things. Now, here's the thing. The Queen would be used to people complimenting her. She would be used to sycophants. People in the court just trying to schmooze with her. She will have had a lifetime of that. And she can tell, I would imagine, who was sincere, who wasn't, and who was a total buffoon. I'll let you figure out which of those three categories she had Trump in there. Oh, Lord. God, I really do want... because we'll never know, right? But, man, I'd love to know what she thought of him. Oh, if she had, an autobiography that was released, that would be amazing. Trump, whole paragraph on... Actually, no, she wouldn't even give him a whole paragraph. She would give him, 2 sentences. This dude is weird. I don't have anything more to say. And that would be the ultimate insult for her, is to barely reference him. Kind of like how he, I hardly knew that person. I don't know who that person is. She would do the same thing to him, but it would resonate and hurt him, and it would work. And nobody believes Trump on that one. Okay. Anybody else we want to read on the weird parade? I guess one last one here. I want to I had thoughts about, and I could read on Anthony Albanese, the PM from Australia. I could read on Justin Trudeau, the PM from Canada. Could read on Macron, the PM over in France. But I think I want to read, these are all allies, and I'd love to get that. But actually, Kim Jong Un could be a fun one. I was going to read on MBS, but you know what? I'm going to audible Kim Jong Un. Because that dude's weird too. But you know what? Kim Jong Un is weird in a normal way. You know what I mean? It's weird that he's running around with cartoons portraying him as Superman, and he can take on the United States all by himself, and he shoots laser beams out of his eyes and stuff like that. That's weird. But, generally speaking, he just wants everything in the world. He's got a lot of money, and he oppresses people. You understand him. He's just your run-of-the-mill dictator that inherited the position. But, Trump and he had their bromance, and I think Trump stiffed him out of $10 million. And now Kim Jong Un is pissed, and he wants his money back, and he's not getting it. So what does Kim Jong Un think of Donald Trump? Well, you know what? I'm not going to give him a whole lot. I'll just do a 4-carder for that one because, yeah. Kim Jong Un on Donald Trump. Why does he think he's weird? There's the money card again. Trump wants to be a dictator like Kim Jong Un and pass it from himself to his spawn to his spawn, and have military parades and, execute his rivals by firing squads and things along those lines. Maybe I'll do the full 7-card, or I'll do it quickly. And there's the world card. Kind of like Putin. And he's not worldly. Now, how interesting. Kim Jong Un isn't worldly either. No, I'm just going to do it as a 4-carder. That'll be fine. Kim Jong Un is not worldly. He has a very isolated world. And Trump's in charge of this huge country with this world influence. And he wants to basically turn it into North Korea. Rather than rule the world, Donald Trump just wants to rule the United States. Kim Jong Un would have much bigger ambitions. So he would look at Trump as weird because he has no ambition whatsoever. Kim Jong Un lives in a poor country, but he lives really, really well in a poor country. Donald Trump lives in a wealthy country, and his standard of living isn't much better than Kim Jong Un's, which I'm sure blows Kim Jong Un's mind because here's the leader of the United States, and my life is better than his. Also, like the Queen, but I think the other thing about Kim Jong Un is he keeps his mouth shut on things. No, he don't get me wrong. He saber rattles and talks about blowing up South Korea and teaching the imperialistic United States this, that, and the other thing. But for the most part, he tends to lay low, and when he feels like he's being ignored, he rattles his swords. But Trump is just always running his mouth. There's no contemplation. There's no evaluation of what he's doing. There's no ambition and there's no plan. Where Kim Jong Un has something of a plan. He has goals. Trump literally is just... He's a drunken redneck in an inner tube going down the middle of the river, yelling at people, saying he owns the river, and everybody needs to get out of his way. It's just... He's uncouth. Trump is uncouth. He has no ambition. He has no mental curiosity. He has no intellectual curiosity. There's uncouth. There's no refinement. And that's kind of the running theme here between Kim Jong Un, Queen Elizabeth, and Putin. He's uncouth. He's just this. He's just this unrefined, non-ambitious, dumb person who can be bought with a lot of money and emotional manipulation. Kind of like everything, the way he treats everybody around him. A bully in the courtroom, outspend people, and buys, tries to bribe his way into everything he wants, but then doesn't pay his bills because he's cheap. He's just weird. And the other world leaders think he's weird too. Thank you for watching this video and supporting my channel. I hope you found this reading insightful and entertaining, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.